take two. I'm going to do this one on my by itself. I just finished it now. It's along with the rest of the pieces that are over there. This is the 6950 that was in the lot. I just finished grabbing all the pieces out of the lot, the collection that we got off of Facebook Buy and Sell, and 98% complete. So out of my collection, I had two. It only came with 2 tires, 2 out of 8. 3 inside hubs, but only 2 tires, so I had to grab 6 more tires out of my collection. It only came with 3 Technic pin axle, black that spin, not friction. So I had to grab 5 of those out of my collection. Only came with 2 wing plates because only had 2 wing plates in the collection because I probably used, again, when I built the 918, probably used them all there. So I didn't have to find any for that, but I had to find 2 wing plates out of my collection for this guy. Came with all the fences, came with all the steering wheels, came with all the printed pieces. So all the 1x4s, the panels in there. The 3x6 inverted was there, the 3x6 trans yellow here. What else? All the white was there, which is fantastic. I did have to grab both black cones, 4x4x2 cones out of my collection. I had to make sure that they were the cones with axle hole, and even the gray one inside here. The gray one, it did not have a gray one because I think I used it on the 918. So it doesn't matter. I grabbed a few pieces. It did not have the yellow hinges pieces here, the 1x4 hinge plates. So I had to grab those out of my collection. Again, these are the 2 3-finger ones, not the 1 2-finger ones that originally came with the set. But again, I think this set was released over a few years, and the second and third year it came with these regular 1x4 hinge plates instead of the 2 1-finger, as the 2 3-finger joints. I can get that to in a second. But overall, 98%, at least 98% complete, which is fantastic, which I really enjoyed. Came with, didn't have the ladders. I had to grab the ladders from my collection. Ladders break easy. I found that out. But all the blue was there. Most of the gray was there again, except for these things that, the plates were here. All these pieces, like hardly had to grab anything out of my collection, which is nice. So this is, again, as I keep on saying, one of my favorite sets. Most classic space is one of my favorite sets. But this is also one of those sets where in my youth, this is where it got real. Because up until this set, everything seemed to be a little more fantasy than science fiction. Even the 918s and 924s, 928s seem to be more science fantasy instead of science fiction. This thing showed up, and it seemed like something we could actually build today, or even in my youth in the 80s. It looked real, and maybe because it had this really cool steering mechanism. I mean, they got better steering mechanisms as they went along with the M-Tron and the Blacktron. But for this time, this is a really cool steering mechanism. And it's also a very big wheeled set. And this is before the Megacore Magnetizer and all the other ones that came after it. But this is the biggest wheeled set that they had released up until this point. And it just seemed big, bulky, like it was useful, like it was meant to be built this way. This is what I really, and of course it had the, I won't say suspension, but the articulation to go over moon debris or, craters and stuff. So all 8 sets, all 4 sets were articulated because of the Technic pieces. So this is why I really, really like this set, because it seemed real. Also, I mean, it does have a cool place feature. I mean, this is the rocket launcher. So there's a rocket, and so it drops it off wherever it has to go. It opens up, and then all of a sudden it pulls ahead, and the rocket... And the rocket itself, pretty cool. Some people thought it was a missile. I thought it was a communication satellite launcher. It would go to wherever it had to go to launch this little communication satellite on top. And that's what the yellow array is for, either solar panels or whatever. It'd be up there and it'd be orbiting the moon. This piece would drop off and this thing would come back down. Kind of got a Thunderbird feel to it because of the big back end with the big rockets on the end and then the narrow tube. Kind of looks like something from Thunderbirds from when I was very young. My brother loved it, and I sort of remember it. I was more of a Space 1999. I remember that vividly, but Thunderbirds was just a little bit before my solid memories. I've seen lots of clips ever since then, but this just has a whole Thunderbird feel to it. But again, so this thing would just pick it up again, go off to the next spot, and launch it again. I did a hard count of tires in my collection. I have enough to build, again, I have one up there. I'll show that in a second. I have enough to build 3 more of these. So I have one up there, my original. This is one I got in this lot. I have 3 more. But I realized after grabbing 6 pins or 5 pins for this, that this is where I keep my pins. And so I only have like 14 pins left. Black axle pins that actually rotate. I got tons of black axle pins that don't rotate, the friction pins, but that doesn't work in this guy. They need to spin. So I only have 14. So if I wanted to build 3 more, I'm either substituting gray axle pins. I don't know if I want to do that, or I'm bricklinking them. But again, I don't need to build 5 at one time. I have 2 at one time, and I can obviously build 3 at one time. Now, as for the hinges, the 1x4 hinges that I was talking about earlier. So this is what I have that I've got over the years. Now, when I bought mine, I swear, I came with a 2 and 3. I think because this thing was released, I think 1982-ish. That's the only year that they had the 2-1. So this is the 1, and this is a 2. This is a 2-3. You can see 2 there and 3 over there. 1982 is, I think, is the only year that they released a 2-1. And after 82, 83 and above, they all the 1x4 hinges, plates were 2-3. And I think when they continued to produce this after 1982, they substituted those for those, because I swear I never had those at all when I was a kid. Never had them, but I had this set. I bought this set. and these are all the ones I have in my entire collection. That's what I remember. So maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Maybe my memory's faulty. I don't know. But as I was acquiring these things, I acquired 3 more over the years used. These are the hinge plates that I got. So I got 3 of 2 and 1 of 1. So I can't really put it in a rocket because I'm still missing one, because I only have 1 full complete. I don't have 2. This thing requires 2, as you can see, and I don't want to lose them. So they stay home. So I just used the 2-3s. I got a million of those, and so even my one up here as a 2-3. It's a little bit broken up because I keep it in the back here, and I just keep on reaching over it, and I just break it. I hide that thing back here. So there's mine original sitting back there beside the solar power transporter and the 6985s. I won't talk about that one. You can watch the other video. So again, I really like the set. It really had a lot of play features. It really looked big and bulky, and like it actually belonged on the moon or an asteroid or somewhere to do what it had to do. It looked real. It looked like it was busy doing something. And I even like the steering wheels in the back here, because these fences became pipes, and so you would fill this thing up, like, you know, before it blasts off with rocket fuel and whatever, and be stored in tanks that were imaginary, because of course underneath, this is the one deficiency, like this bottom is like complete blah. Like they could have done more with that. But anyway, in the end, I'm not going to fault them, because they had a piece count to adhere to, and the top is where you're looking. So great set. Glad I built it out of this lot. Glad that I'll just add it to that big huge pile of sets over there. But I wanted to do this one on its own. I will complete more sets and then take another video. So everybody have a nice night. Everybody take care. Stay safe, and I will talk to you soon.